Joining us now is Joseph Slobodzian of the Philadelphia Inquirer. Hey, Joseph, how are you?
Good, Steve. How are you?
Did you hear what I just played?
Yeah, I did.
I mean, I want you to hear one more. Let's do cut 23. Cut 23.
The defense team, it seems, is really just trying to show that some of these children, and that's the term that the prosecutors used, were not actually born alive.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, they tiptoe around the words. He served women in the community for so many years. Tell the folks where this thing stands. The defense is rested, of course. What's going on?
Well, it's in the hands of the jury. The judge, the Philadelphia judge, Jeff Meinhardt, instructed the jury in the law this morning. They went out about 1:07. They just broke for the day at about 4:07 after 3 hours. They're back tomorrow. So the fate of Dr. Gosnell and Eileen O'Neill, the unlicensed doctor who worked in his clinic, is in the hands of 7 women and 5 men.
And, of course, eight previous people who worked in the clinic had already pleaded guilty to murder and other charges. But let me ask you this. Did anybody expect a 3-hour verdict, or is it too complicated?
A 3-hour? You mean a
decision, yeah.
Today? Well, some people may have, but I don't. I mean, I hesitate to predict anything that a jury will do, because normally you're going to be wrong. On the other hand, when you're dealing with 4 counts of first-degree murder, which could trigger the death penalty, 1 count of third-degree murder, 24 counts of performing abortions after 24 weeks, which is illegal in Pennsylvania, 227 counts of performing abortions without the mandatory 24-hour waiting period and counseling, and then a group of racketeering counts. That's a lot for a jury to go through in not only 3 hours, maybe even 3 days.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. I know there are a lot of people, as you alluded to, that might have expected that this was an open and shut kind of case, but there are a heck of a lot of charges. And again, you were in the courtroom as the jury was charged. Anything unusual? Anything that sticks out in your mind?
Only the complexity of what they have to deal with. Although Dr. Gosnell, for example, is charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder, and that's certainly what the prosecutors are arguing they want a verdict on, the jury could decide to find him guilty of third-degree murder, which is a lesser count. It doesn't involve the premeditation and malice, and the premeditation involved. They could find him guilty of involuntary manslaughter, essentially arguing that he was negligent, but there was no attempt to purposely kill the newborns, or they could acquit him, obviously. So, I mean, there's a lot to weigh in each of these counts. Racketeering, whether it's federal or local, is traditionally a difficult decision for jurors to work their way through, because you've got to decide that there was a corrupt organization operating, and then you have to find that Dr. Gosnell or Dr. O'Neill did at least 2 things in furtherance of that corrupt organization. So it's a lot to go through, especially for lay people who may not be familiar with this kind of legal language.
And what did Gosnell look like? What was his demeanor? Was it different today than it's been throughout? And what is it?
Throughout the trial, he has been unflappable. I mean, he looks as if he's a spectator at someone else's trial. He doesn't appear upset. He often has like a puzzling half smile on his face as he listens to things. He looks a little more tired now than he did at the start of the trial, but then it's 8 weeks later.
Yeah.
Been in court and every single day. So it could wear on you, I'm sure.
And where did I hate to be gruesome here, but where do what are the charges related to the body parts in the freezer and wherever else they were found?
Well, actually, the body parts were among some of the counts that were thrown out by the judge. After the prosecution rested its case, there are abuse of corpse charges, and I think the judge didn't explain his ruling, but my take on it is just that the body parts were from fetuses so young they would not have been viable, and so the inference is they would never have been born under any circumstance.
All right, so I guess collecting body parts theoretically of babies who are aborted, and and then when they come out and they're dead. I mean, I guess it's not against the law to save a foot as a trophy. I mean, am I correct? I mean, even a serial killer, gets charged, I guess, for the serial killings, not for for if they save a pinky or a foot or an arm or a leg from each victim, right? I mean, I guess that's not a charge.
Well, the charge is abuse of corpse.
Okay.
And again, I don't know why necessarily the judge agreed to dismiss that. Although, on the other hand, when you're dealing with a defendant who's facing 4 first-degree murder counts and then 200 some other counts, the body parts are probably the least he has to worry about. On the other hand,
I just wanted to know because I had this is one of the more gruesome parts of the whole thing. I mean, obviously the killing of the babies is the most horrific, and the woman dying and the whole thing. But the saving of the body parts is totally bizarre.
Well, and Dr. Gosnell's explanation for that, for the feet it was for DNA and identification purposes, which the experts who testified pretty much discounted that. And the other parts in the freezer at the clinic were Dr. Gosnell claimed that he was having a dispute with the biological waste disposal company, a billing dispute, and until it was resolved, he just stored things in the clinic.
Oh, boy, we're talking to Joseph Slobodzian, staff writer. I've come a long way with your name. It's very easy. I don't know why the first time I had all that trouble, because Slobodzian is very easy. Staff writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer, who's been kind enough to come on with us regularly during his own responsibilities with the Philadelphia Inquirer. Let me ask you this. I mean, I've been watching cable. I've had CNN on all day, for instance. That's a TV that's in front of me right now. I don't think I've seen one mention of the fact that this case has gone to the jury. Our friends at the Media Research Center will be monitoring tonight, but I doubt that NBC, ABC, CBS are going to make mention. They won't find time to mention that this case has gone to the jury. When the verdict comes in, if he's found guilty of more on the more serious side, let's say, of the charges, as opposed to you never know. I mean, if it's only third-degree murder, or involuntary manslaughter, they might then champion that and say, well, it's not so bad, and report on it. Whereas if it's tougher charges, tougher convictions, they might shy away from it. So, but my question to you is, what do you think the rest of the media is going to do when the verdict comes in?
Well, all I can tell you is that everybody was outside today. CNN had a truck outside. NBC actually interviewed me this afternoon. I don't know whether they plan to run that tonight or not. There are plenty of media outside today, but I guess you'll have to tune in to see what's on the air.
Yeah, very true. Because, like I said, I know CNN's in Boston still, and they're doing other news. They did the press conference. Obviously, it is a busy news day as far as that goes. But I just haven't seen anything else as far as that goes. All right, listen, I appreciate it, Joseph, and certainly when a verdict comes in, we'll try to get you, and you'll be at your busiest, so it'll be a challenge for us. But we'll reach out to you, and thank you for your time again.
No problem. My pleasure.
Thank you. Okay, Joseph Slobodzian, ladies and gentlemen.